Hi, everyone. This is Christine Thompson with Baird and Warner, and today I'm going to be talking to a title representative, a closing officer, so you can understand a little bit about a part of the process of purchasing a home. A big part of it is actually closing on the home. So welcome, Jolanta Ryba. She works with Baird and Warner Title. I appreciate you joining me, Jolanta.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. So, Jolanta, a lot of people never even think about the title company, and you know, what's the importance of having a title company, and how does that help them?
Well, the title insurance, the title company, what we do is we run a title report when the seller's attorney, when the parties agree to a contract and it's already finalized and everything, it's in the final steps, it's after attorney approval. They'll usually go ahead and order a title title search with the title company, and it's usually the seller's attorney's office that sends out this title search to their preferred title company.
Yeah, what's the title search for? Like,
the title search is basically tells all the parties that are involved when they get to closing who is on title, who is entitled to, who needs to sign the deed, whether the property is in trust, where the property is, you know, it's, if there's somebody deceased, if there's any heirs, all the heirs that need to sign that deed. That's very important, because if there's an heir that didn't sign it, or a party that was missing off that deed, that transaction, that deed can become a little bit of a problem if not all the parties that are supposed to be signing that deed didn't sign it. So the title search tells us who needs to sign the deed and any pertinent title documents at closing.
Okay.
So usually the sellers, they don't even need to come to closing. Their seller's attorney will, once they get the deed signed and any of the other documents signed, they usually get also power of attorney signed at that time, so they don't need to come to closing. It saves the sellers a step, because it's, you know, they're moving out already. They're done with that step of their lives. They're on to the next. So as long as they sign the power of attorney over to their sellers, any other documents that need to be signed at the time of closing can be signed by their attorney. But the deed absolutely needs to be signed by the sellers or whoever is in title at that time to convey it to the next person.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is the seller doesn't have to sign the deed the day of closing. He can sign it before then.
They can sign it before, and it has to get notarized, you know, notarized and dated prior to the date of or prior to closing. It can't be done after the date of closing, because then it becomes a defect in title.
Yeah, sure. Well, the new owner doesn't want to have, they want to have the deed in the title, right? So
right, they want to have it at closing. Yes, obviously.
You find that lenders ask for a title report?
They do. They always ask for a preliminary title report when they know who the title company is. They send in, because they have a list of documents they need to do ahead of time also. So they will ask for a preliminary title report from the title company that we sent to them prior to closing, and then we send them a waived title commitment from closing, waived by the seller's attorney.
And that last part, the waived commitment, you said that happens on closing day?
That happens at the time of closing, yes. Yeah, and the seller's attorney brings that, he waives the commitment
okay,
based on the exemptions on title.
Yeah, and the title report that you give to the lender, is there a gap time, like you can't send it too soon? Does it have to be a certain time frame before closing? Like, we don't want it any earlier than this? Or, you know, like if somebody had a 4-month closing, you know, how ahead of time would you feel comfortable, or would the lender feel comfortable getting that preliminary title report?
Usually because sometimes, you know, the closings do get delayed and stuff, and, you know, the contract gets put together like 3 months before closing. That title report, whatever date is on that preliminary title report, is no good. We always do a week the week of closing, we always do a title update, and we get a later date, so that within the week of closing, it becomes valid again.
Now, do you do that because, you know, I hear how sometimes, hey, there might have been a contractor that was hired to fix something following the inspection and the owner didn't pay him, and they could walk over to the courthouse and put a contractor's lien on the property. You know,
Correct.
Is that why you do another search shortly before closing?
That's exactly why, because sometimes, you know, even sellers don't even think about things like when they took out a home equity line of credit and then they never took out any money against the property. But then the week before closing, they needed some funds, you know, because they were moving or whatnot, and they took out some funds from that line of credit. And now we know that there's an open account, an open line of credit. Mm-hmm. So anything that comes to closing, anything prior to has to get cleared. So when those liens come to closing, those credits, that's exactly why we run the later dates, to find out that there's no new additional liens added into title, like the mechanics liens, any other liens from the city. Like if they've already moved out and they haven't paid their water bills and stuff, the city could file a lien against that.
On there.
So, so any liens that come up before closing, we do another title search real quick. And we do a later date on that. And that's exactly why, just so that we know that nothing new has come up since we pulled the original title search. Yeah.
So that's good for buyers, because then they can feel confident when we own this house, no one's going to come knocking on our door saying, you owe us money.
Correct. Free and clear of any liens. The title company assumes responsibility after the date of closing to pay off any liens, anything like, you know, anything that comes up on title, we are responsible for paying at the closing.
Now, what if something happened where it's literally closing day? You've already done your second search, you know, sweeping it shortly before closing, but literally the day of closing, there's a contractor going to the courthouse or, you know, the municipality and putting a mechanics lien on it, and no one's aware. We're all sitting at the closing table, and then that shows up months later, and the new owner gets a knock on the door or a bill saying, hey, you've got this lien on your property. Does title insurance help with that?
Yes, it does.
It was recorded before actual ownership, but it wasn't caught in that last sweep. You know, what does title insurance do if that new owner calls his title insurance company and says, hey, apparently there's a lien on here, and that no one was aware of it, but it happened before he closed on it. Can the title company help with that?
Yes, we can, absolutely. Then we will file a claim then. And we get our attorneys involved and people too. So yes, we can absolutely help with that.
Let's say there's a contractor's lien for $2,000, and that guy went into the municipality and recorded it literally the day before closing. No one's aware of it. You know, no one's, you know, doing anything nefarious. No one was just aware of it. And can the buyer be assured, like, I'm not going to have to pay for any of this lien because I have title insurance on my house?
That's correct. Yes, they can. And typically we raise anything like that upon the policy commitment. If we see that there's been work done to the property, like in your MLS comments, if they say, you know, newly updated or something, that typically raises red flags with the title company. Okay. Oh, they've done updates, you know. So maybe we need to get receipts and stuff from the sellers showing us that they've paid any contractors that have done work on this property, and they need to provide proof that there's not going to be anybody coming to them looking for money after closing. So yes,
so you know,
our examiners are very detail oriented with respect to that. They always raise liens on title with respect to mechanics liens. And anything that needs to get cleared like that. Anything that says new or, you know, recently done in the MLS, they usually, you know, they want proof of receipts or something.
Yeah, I never knew you guys were actually looking at the MLS reports.
Oh, they do.
You guys are.
I didn't know that either, but they told me, yes, that
wow.
They do.
That's good though. That's really
Yeah.
good. You know, it makes the buyers feel assured that, hey, they're looking in every nook and cranny. So Jolanta, just before we sign off, I just wanted to ask you one question about Baird and Warner title. If someone asked you, well, why would we want to hire your title company over another title company? What would be the benefit to them that they couldn't get with another title company?
Well, we are typically, you know, exact same, we're underwritten by Chicago Title, First American, and I believe it's Old Republic. So we have 3 underwriters that are major companies. Our rates are very competitive with the other title companies. We typically save on a real estate transaction anywhere from $50 to $150, you know, based with Chicago Title, First American.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to do a line by line item, you know, we have a sheet also here that, you know, we can send into them. Okay. And the other benefit is, you know, like, so the sellers will contact you if there's anything, and I am your contact here at Naperville. If you have anything that you need to know ahead of time before it gets to closing, or if you know something that an attorney is having a problem getting title clearance or whatever, I am your contact here at Naperville, and I am your eyes and ears to the Schaumburg office. So I can, you know, if there's something that I don't have here, I can request that information from our Schaumburg office and get that over to you. And, you know, it's just having, I am the only point of contact here, where if you go to a title company, if you know, you don't always know who your closer is going to be at Chicago Title, you won't know who to reach out to. So
not until it's scheduled.
Not until it's scheduled, correct? Yes.
Not until it's scheduled. I'm like, I have no clue who to call or anything like that. And I know you're right around you're a couple seats away from me.
I am, yes, just down the hall from you.
That's right. You can't hide. Can't hide from me.
Nowhere to find me.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, and thanks for providing information to help people understand a little more about why you even use a title company, what processes are happening. And we have your contact information. If they have more questions, they can give you a call on your direct line, if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine.
And everyone, thanks for watching this show. If you have questions, you can reach me as well. You've got my information on the screen there. And be sure to share and like this video with other people so they can get more information too. I think it's important to have unbiased, clear information about processes with real estate, so that way when you or someone else is entering into that process, they can feel more confident about all the stages and what to anticipate. And then it just becomes a much better experience. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more shows to this series. I'm just bringing people that play different roles in the real estate transaction from the very beginning to all the way to closing, where Jolanta is at. You guys all have a great day and keep watching. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.